Once again, another year has come to a close, and you know what that means. It's time to look back and start setting our goals for 2019. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And we've been doing that all year. And yes, another year has wrapped up. And one thing I do every year, I always put out a video and kind of recap what my year was like and sort of look forward to the next year, this being 2019 coming up, and sort of set some goals and things like that. Now, a lot of these goals are particular to me, but my hope is that you'll be able to take away something from this and kind of figure out what you want to do in scheduling your goals for the next year, whether they're your personal goals, your art goals, or whatever. I'm going to concentrate mostly on my artistic goals for the upcoming year, and like I said, I do want to look back on 2018 because it was a year of some really awesome highs and unfortunately some pretty big lows. Maybe that's typical with every year, but for me anyway, there's definitely a big range between the highs and lows. One of the things that I decided to do in 2017 was give the channel and give Serkworks Art Labs sort of a fresh coat of paint, and I've been getting some feedback from other people saying you need to sort of be the forefront of this channel and everything, whereas before I had, my little mascot, which he's still around, but I decided, maybe I should do that, so I created a cartoon version of myself that you can kind of see throughout the branding of the channel and the company itself and everything. So I figured I'd show you kind of how that all came to life while I talk about my goals. So yeah, let's get to it. So every year around this time, as we approach the new year, people start making their New Year's resolutions. I've never been a real big fan of New Year's resolutions because to me they're kind of more like wishes. So I like little kind of more measurable, actionable goals. So what I like to do is I like to set goals, and I do this every year. So what I do usually is I start and I look back over last year and kind of see which goals I met. So I look back at my video for 2018, and so first I want to go into some of the goals that I hit. One of the big things was that I finished my comic book, Young and the Dead, issue number 4. Now, the goal was to get it done last year, which I did, and I'm super excited. I kind of wanted to get it done in May for last year's Phoenix Comic Con, but I did finish it this year, and that's a big win for me. Another one is YouTube. Now, I look back a couple years ago in my 2017 video, and in that video I said I wanted to double my subscriber count. Now, it's weird because subscribers, I don't even know why everyone focuses that much on subscribers, because most of your views don't come from people who subscribe. Now, I appreciate everyone who does subscribe, but that's a small percentage of the views. And there's just a lot of different factors, but everyone kind of focuses on subscribers, so that's what I was focused on. And unfortunately, in that year, in 2017, I wasn't able to double my subscriber count. However, so in 2018, so what I wanted to do, I didn't want to focus on subscribers or building or, certain things like that, because it's really hard. YouTube is very weird the way it works. And you can't really always count on things like with the algorithm and everything like that. So it's hard to make a goal like that. But what you can do is say you want to improve your channel and everything. So one of the things I decided to do was upload. I said I want to upload at least 2 videos a week, and I pretty much kept consistent with that throughout 2018. And whether this was a result of that or something else, one thing that happened was I was able to triple my subscriber count from 2017, so that's pretty awesome. And that also, my watch time went up, and all that stuff, so that's pretty awesome. One thing that I started doing in 2018 was digital products, building these digital products. I released 3 digital products, 4 if you count my Comic Maker Starter Kit, which is another big one for me. And what that is, that's a lead magnet, and that's something that I really wanted to do, is build something really cool, and there's a lot of work that went into this, that I could give away for free in order to bring people into a mailing list. And the mailing list is part of a newsletter that I send out, and that's another one of my big goals. I finally finished my mailing list. got my mailing list and my newsletter going, because all the experts tell me, everything I've heard was like, you got to have a mailing list, because that's something that you can own. It's not like a social media platform where those things can come and go, or people can change algorithms and companies can switch things around. But with the mailing list, you always have those people that you can market to. So that was a big thing, was the just launching that newsletter. The other thing that I did was sort of a soft rebrand for Serkworks Art Labs. Nothing major, but you may have seen some changes. One thing that I did is I took some of the kind of the blue look out of it and kind of changed everything around to that kind of lime green that you see with the lab coat, because I think people, when they see me, they recognize the lab coat and they recognize that. So I tied that in. I brought the Mad Science Supply Company into the logo, and I got some advice from some mentors and just some general fans and people that watched the video that told me that I should focus a little more on myself. So I created a cartoon, which you can see right now. This is me creating the cartoon version of myself. So I did that. So that's all part of that brand. And if you're curious, if you want to see kind of the evolution of my brand, if you go to Serkworks.com and go to the news section, there's a blog post that will show you because I've been doing this since I think 1999, and you can see the difference, and it's interesting to see where the company has gone. But if you want to see that, just go to the news section on the website, and that leads me to the new website. Yeah, that was another one of my goals, and I got a brand new website up. And the cool thing is it's kind of all in one. I don't have to go to a separate store, Envy store. I moved it to Squarespace from WordPress, because WordPress, I kept getting these, people were hacking into it, and just that was a nightmare. So, and I'm not really good with WordPress. So I learned Squarespace, built the website, and I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. So I also completed a couple of challenges in 2018. I did Inktober and March of Robots. So there's 31 drawings of each of those. So that was that's part of something that I need to work on, as far as, and we'll get into that in a minute when we get to goals that I didn't necessarily hit. But I did do those challenges and successfully completed those. Another thing that I did was I wanted to do more networking, and I started doing that, and it's awesome. And I mean like real world networking, because I'm always kind of networking online, but doing it in the real world, getting out and meeting people and things like that. So I looked into design conferences, and I decided to start at locally. So I attended Phoenix Design Week, and that was really cool. I met some new people and just got more involved, and I was introduced to some people with the AIGA, which puts on that event. So I actually went to their board meeting, and I want to start getting more involved with that, which is sort of the kind of the Graphic Artist Association of America, and then this is the Arizona chapter. And also I went to some events for Phoenix Ad Club, so I've met some people there as well. Also went to a Phoenix Chamber of Commerce mixer, which is a little more broad. It's just all different companies. So I'm trying to get out and do more of that type of thing. I released some new products. I've got some new prints out, and then some. I released a line of lab provisions, which are sort of my little kind of science experiments. And because if you're going to run a Mad Science supply store, you probably should sell Mad Science supplies. So I got those out there. So those are some of my new products. Now, goals that I did not hit. So as far as YouTube, I think I did pretty well with YouTube, but one of the things that I mentioned before that I wanted to do was more hero content. And if you're not familiar with what that is, so YouTube recommends that you create hero, help, help, hub, and hero. Now, help is kind of what I'm doing now, where I'm kind of giving advice. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. Hub is more like stuff just for the people that kind of dig what I'm doing, if they want to check out my artwork or whatever. But hero is another one, and that's sort of really highly produced, something that has the potential to go viral. You can never really count on something going viral, but something that has that potential that you can kind of send out either on Facebook or other places other than just YouTube, and hopefully something that that really appeals to a lot of people, and I didn't really do anything with that, and that's something hopefully I can get to. Collabs, I said I wanted to do more collabs. I did a few. I did one with Marshall Lee where we did the Take Me to Your Leader Tuesday, where we did alien designs, which is really cool. Maybe we'll get a chance to do another stint on that. That was kind of fun. And then recently I started just joining in on Corey Kerr and Joshua Kimball's 40-hour art check on Mondays. They do it like 3 days a week, and I've been checking in on Mondays, which is kind of cool. And so in the future I've got more stuff planned as far as collabs and everything, but I didn't really get as much of those done as before. So one of the things that I alluded to before when I was doing my art challenges, the March of Robots and the Inktober, was Instagram. So Instagram, I completely kind of failed at. And hopefully this year I really want to make an effort to kind of boost my Instagram presence. I started doing IGTV. I was posting some Instagram stories and trying to post on Instagram, but it's just I couldn't make a good habit of it. Like when I was doing the art challenges, Inktober, there was 31 days straight where I posted, and same thing with March of Robots. So I don't know, maybe I just need to do more of those, more art challenges. But I really do need to concentrate more on Instagram and kind of boosting that. As far as marketing, that's one thing I always say that I'm going to do, and not just marketing, like sort of, when I talk about my products and stuff on YouTube or online or whatever, but I don't know whether it's Facebook ads or whatever, but basically marketing more towards people other than just artists, because a lot of my mad science stuff, there's a lot of people that are like in the sciences or technology or whatever that dig that stuff. I just need to reach them, because right now I'm sort of just reaching artists. So I need to kind of branch out and reach some more people in those other areas. So marketing is a big one. It's going to be a big one moving forward. The other thing that I said I wanted to do last year was do an art book. And I've got an idea for an art book that I want to do. I don't know even if I'll get around to it this year. It's not on my high priority. But it is something that I want to do eventually. I think maybe I just need to kind of build more of an audience for that. So those are some goals that I missed, but there are some achievements that I've had that, and these are things that I didn't really set out to do, but that kind of happened that were really cool. I had my first gallery show. And that was sort of a bucket list item, so that was cool. If I never get to do it again, that's all right, but it was cool to get a chance to exhibit in a gallery. Also, I was invited as a guest to Phoenix Comic Con, so they paid for my table. I got some cool perks and things, some green room perks and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. I don't know if they'll invite me again next year or not, but if they don't, that was something that was really cool that I got a chance to do. So pretty happy about that. And all in all, I mean, I had a really good year. As far as monetarily and income and everything, I definitely had my best year. I had my most profitable year. But, in addition to all these achievements, there's things you don't really account for, that you can't account for. And sometimes life happens. And in October, I was laid off from my job as an illustrator. And I was there for 3 years, and for some reason 3 years seems to be like the magic number. Every time I worked for a company, I was working in game companies. Some of them didn't even last 3 months, but some of these companies folded, like these startups, you never know. But the longest it seems I've ever worked for a company before getting laid off, and this is a constant thing with being an artist, is the jobs are just, they're just not reliable. So 3 years is a kind of about, I guess, that magic number, or unlucky number, I guess you could say. So yeah, that was was a kind of a big hit. And so, based on that, what do I do next? Well, that kind of leads me into 2019. So after losing my illustration job, I really had to take stock of kind of where I was and what I was going to do. With the loss of that job, I basically lost over half my income. Now, that probably puts me in a better position than most, because I had already started to build other streams of income. And some people, when they lose their job, I mean, that's it. They don't have anything else going on. So luckily I wasn't total dire straits, but when you make a certain amount of money, you become accustomed to that. But the good thing is that I can live pretty spartanly. I don't want a lot of fancy things or anything like that. And most of the money that I earned last year was put back into my company. So I upgraded like equipment and, you know, got a new computer and everything. So in that way, it kind of set me up. So hopefully, you know, my computer's not going to fail or anything because it's a new computer, and I've made some upgrades and I've invested in the company. So I didn't go out and buy a bunch of crazy things, which is good. So basically now I'm in this position where I have to decide, you know, what am I going to do? Do I go out and try to look for another full-time job or a part-time job? And art jobs are kind of hard to come by. I mean, I can do graphic design and everything like that, but the job I had before was basically just doing illustration, and for me it was kind of like a no-brainer. I just go in and I do the work. It wasn't hard. I didn't really have to think about it. I didn't have to worry about it afterwards, and I was able to concentrate on my own stuff. So because those are so hard to come by, you know, I looked in, I found a few and I applied to some, and then I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to make a go of it. I've got enough freelance work, ongoing freelance work, and other streams of income that can kind of more or less keep me going. I'll have to pick up some more along the way, I think. But with the freelance work that I'm doing, I can make close to what I was making from my previous job, but only spend about maybe a third of the time at the most. So that leaves me with a lot of extra time that I could focus on my own stuff. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And to be honest, I'm sick of kind of working for other people, because those jobs, there is just no job security nowadays. The only job security you have is what you make kind of for yourself. So, and that's not to say that if something happens or whatever, and I have to go back and get another full-time job, I mean, that's a possibility. But for right now, I really want to focus on, you know, Serkworks and building this whole thing up. So anyway, so here are sort of my game plan for 2019. So I'm going to focus on building more passive income streams. With that, more digital products. And I want to focus on, you know, a lot of my audience are comic book creators. So I want to focus on digital products for comic book creators, just like the Comic Maker Starter Kit, but I'm going to build another one that's sort of a paid version that's going to be like a deluxe version, so it's going to have twice as much. And have you ever seen the Comic Maker Starter Kit? It's got tons of stuff. So this thing is just going to be crazy. I mean, but anyway, so it's going to have like 50% more stuff. It's going to be like a pro toolkit, digital toolkit for comic creators. So there's that. Plus I want to create more comic book style fonts and brushes and other digital products that I can sell both on my website and through, you know, sites like Creative Market and Design Cuts and You Work for Them and all these other sites where you can sell stuff like that. As far as YouTube, I want to grow my channel by 25%. Now, before I said that's kind of hard to say, oh, I want to grow my channel by this or that, because you really don't have a lot of control over a lot of that stuff. But I am taking some steps, and there are some things that I'm going to try to do to kind of make that happen. And who knows, maybe I could grow up more than that, but that's kind of the goal. But one of the things I want to do is I want to build some more, I want to do a series on YouTube that's sort of like a soup to nuts making comics series. So that should be cool for a lot of you guys. Hopefully that'll be coming soon. I want to do some more fun. I've got some fun videos planned that I think my audience will love, but also I think will appeal to a larger audience, and hopefully we'll see more of that coming out. I've got a secret project that I'm doing, that I've talked to a few friends I want to get more friends involved with. Sorry I can't go too much into that, but that should be really cool. I've been teasing that one for a while. There's some technical things I got to work out with that. I want to do some, I've been approached by some companies to do sort of a game show thing. I don't know if that'll happen. That's the beginning stage. So that's something that might happen on the channel. Keep an eye out for that. And like I mentioned before, I want to create some hero content. So probably a video about, one thing I always say is haters hate, creators create. So a video around that I think a lot of people can resonate with, that I can really do some high production value and take some time and really put some effort into something like that. So those are some of my plans to hopefully grow the channel by 25%. Let's see. Another thing that I've been approached to do by some friends of mine is to get involved in a new tutorial channel. This is sort of the beginning stage, so I don't want to get too much more into that, but that's another separate thing that I might be doing. A big goal is the 100 Days of Making Comics 2 anthology. This one is going to have the theme of werewolves and unicorns. We've done the first anthology. This is going to be the second one. So I'm doing a 4-page story for that, and I am also designing the cover for that book, which is awesome. I'm glad they asked me to do that. And it's going to be sort of a different story for me. It's going to be a lot darker, and I want to start using some new techniques. Speaking of that, one of the things that I want to do is I want to try to do more digital artwork. I mean, I do a lot of digital artwork, but as far as the comics, I want to start doing some digital sketching. The other thing that I plan to do, I think I'm going to do this in March, is launch a Kickstarter for Young and the Dead issue number 3. And you'll be able to get the other issues with that as well. So got to start setting up for that. And like I mentioned before, Instagram is a big one. I want to increase my Instagram sort of presence and, you know, and following, or whatever you call it, on Instagram by 50%, and I want to do more stories and just new art and challenges and all kinds of cool stuff. So hopefully, you know, Instagram this will be the year for my Instagram. We'll see. That's something I really have to do. I want to boost my online sales by 25%. I want to continue to deliver my newsletter monthly. Launch, so after the Kickstarter, something that people have been asking me about and friends of mine have been telling me that I need to do is do a Patreon. So I am planning this year to launch a Patreon. That'll be after the Kickstarter, because I don't want all that stuff going on at the same time. But I've got some cool ideas and some cool kind of rewards and some things that I want to do to kind of make a really cool Patreon for everyone, because yeah, there's just so much stuff I want to do. So looking forward to that. I want to just improve my artwork. I'm not planning on, because I'm concentrating on digital artwork, I'm probably not going to do a lot of prints. But one thing I do want to do is I want to do like sort of a triptych of I want to do a robot, alien, and a zombie, you know, triptych that I really want to, you know, stretch my illustration, you know, muscles and really do something awesome with this thing. So that's something, and I don't know kind of what style I'm going to go in, but it's going to be something that I haven't done before and something I think is going to hopefully really wow people. I'm just going to spend more time on that. And I don't know exactly when I'll get around to that. Hopefully before Phoenix Comic Con, but we'll see. Like I mentioned before, more digital sketching. Challenges. I want to still do March of Robots again and Inktober again, so that'll kind of work its way into Instagram. I want to write issues number 5 and 6 of Young and the Dead. 6 will be the final issue, and I want to write those together because I'm now at this point where I've got to make sure everything comes together as a full story. So where I've got sort of an outline, and before I've worked with outline in the past, I've only written one story at a time, but it's really imperative that this thing all fits together. So that's the big thing, is writing those 2 issues. So I want to get that outline done by the end of the year. Let's see, professional goals, personal goals. You know, I want to, you know, I want to obviously continue to work out and exercise and diet and stuff like that. I've kind of been up and down with that. I've been doing pretty good lately, but just with the holidays, the diet, I mean, I'm still working out pretty much every day, running and everything, but the diet thing is kind of fallen off because of the holidays and all that. So hopefully after New Year's, because there's New Year's parties and everything, then I will be able to kind of get back on that diet. But you know, that's kind of all personal stuff. I'll touch a little more on that just briefly in the next video I want to do, because I've talked about all these goals, but the thing is, I mean, how do you actually accomplish them? How do you reach them? So I want to kind of go into my system of how I achieve my goals, and a lot of it has to do with an app called Trello. Maybe you've heard of it. I've talked about it before, but I use it all the time. So, and I've done videos on it, but there's some new things I want to do, so I want to talk about that. So that will sort of be the next video. But as far as that, yeah, the only other thing that I want to also continue to do more networking and everything. So I don't know, because of the money involved. I mean, some of these networking conferences cost, they can be kind of expensive, and like I said, I'm kind of having to budget things quite a bit right now. So I will probably go back to Phoenix Design Week because it's local, but the ones I have to travel to, I'd love to go to a conference called Creative South, but I don't know if I'll be able to make that happen this year. We'll see. You never know. I mean, I think that's kind of towards the end of the year, I think. So maybe, who knows where I'll be at. But, you know, hopefully if all these goals start to fall into place and I start meeting these goals, you know, you never know what can happen. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to in 2019. And hopefully you guys have your goals in place and are ready to start working towards achieving those goals. All right, so there you go. That's sort of my recap of 2018 and some of my goals that I'm setting for 2019. My hope is that this is going to benefit you as well, that maybe you can take something from this in planning your own goals. One of the things that I would mention for you if you're doing goal setting is do like a video or something out in the public, or something that you can refer back to so that you can look back and say, oh yeah, I accomplished this goal or I didn't. So this is kind of my way of doing that. So my next video, I'm actually going to show you, kind of break down how I plan out my goals, and I think that's going to be really beneficial for you guys. So stay tuned for that coming up. But for now, that is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.